Up? Did I still have it up?
Yeah, no, I was moving this over a little bit, so I scooch that.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Wow, we got a full house. This is good.
Good morning, Governor. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
I got up at 4:30. Yeah. Yeah, and the problem is I didn't get to sleep till 1. But I'm going to put this on the sun.
Okay.
Put your phaser on sun. Oh, yeah. No,
Good morning. Welcome to the weekly meeting for the Rotary Club of Harleysville. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, the four-way test of all the things we say and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And our reflection this morning will be from Dean Schollenberger.
yeah, thanks.
So since this week was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday, I was looking up reflections. It just went away. He had a lot of quotes. One site with 76 quotes. I won't read all of those. I found a site on service and community, and I'm going to read 10 quotes. But before that, do you know what his real name was? Anybody?
Michael?
Michael. I was wondering how he got this Martin Luther thing. His father went to Germany in 1934 and changed his name after seeing what Martin Luther did over there to Martin Luther. Yeah. These Lutherans have quite an effect on everybody. Watch out, Mennonites. Anyway, let's get to the quotes. Those who are not looking for happiness are most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. For when people get caught up with that which is right, they are willing to sacrifice for it. There's no stopping point short of victory. Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great, because greatness is determined by service. Perhaps the worst sin in life is knowing right and not doing it. The time is always right to do what is right. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. That's our quotes for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Anytime that you turn the flag around? Flag. Yes. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, a couple things coming up on the calendar this month, and we're going to start talking about things in February and months to come. As I've mentioned in the last couple of weeks, you know, we talk about Club Runner a lot and the power of Club Runner, and how we do things within our club and how we communicate with each other and so forth. If anyone's interested in learning more about how to maximize the power of Club Runner, there is an intermediate training that it will take place on the 24th, which is next week, and then it's a virtual meeting from 6:30 to 8. On the 26th, in Allentown, the Allentown Rotary Club is hosting cocktails with the district governor, and that will be at Brew Daddy's in Allentown from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I believe there might be a link for that on the district calendar if you want to have a look to register for that and look for the exact address and location for that. Chuck and I went to an Area 6 President's meeting last night, and there is going to be a cocktails with the district governor coming up in the next month or so in our area. So that'll probably be up in Pennsburg. The Pennsburg Club and the Percy Club presidents are Quakertown presidents are planning that. More information will come out once that's available. There's a grant certification seminar coming up on the 31st, and that is a virtual event as well, and that is at 6:30 p.m. On February 4th, the Montco New Britain Club is having, I think it's their second annual mini golf fundraiser. This is like a miniature golf tournament that's indoors at the Montgomery Township building. And if you're interested in information on that, that is on the district website. On February 11th, right before Valentine's Day, it is Love Under the Lights. The Percy Rotary Club is having their event at the Indian Valley Country Club from 5 to 11. So it'll be kind of like an adult prom if you want to get dressed up, you want to have a nice dinner, you have some drinks and do some dancing. Sounds like it's going to be a very fun night. There is a public image forum coming up on February 27th. So, you know, we talk about a lot about how we raise our visibility within the community and the different ways that we can do that. You know, the district has resources for that. And that seminar will take place on the 27th. If you want to learn more about that, that is from 6 to 7:30 p.m. One thing I want to mention is, I'm sorry, I don't have the date for that, what they're targeting for the cocktails with the district governor for our area. It's going to be on February 21st. And like I said, once we have more information on that, I will send that out. We'll send that out to the club. Our family bowling night. I think that's going to be moved out to April. Am I right? Yep. So we'll have more information on that as that develops. We do have a committee for that. If you're interested in joining the committee, please let Valerie know. We're organizing to figure out, you know, what organization we want to choose to benefit from that event and the planning for that event. So it'll be in April. I don't think the bowling alley was so busy that they didn't have availability for us in March. Anything else that anyone wants to mention for upcoming events or things coming up? No? Okay. If we don't have anything else, then what we're going to do is go right into Rotary Trivia. Oh boy.
Hold on a second.
Off stage.
Larry, everyone, please. Live from the Frank County Eureka Cafe, it's another exciting edition of Rotary Trivia. Join us as one lucky contestant will play to win a fabulous grand prize by showing us what they know about Rotary. I'm your announcer, Larry Moss, here with your host, Phil Taken.
All right, as each and every week, let's get started by telling the audience about today's grand prize.
I asked us to direct their attention to our spokesperson, Hobaugh. Today's contestants play for crunchy, lightly salted pretzels, drenched in a rich milk chocolate flavored coating to create a decadent taste escape. Just close your eyes, savor the flavor. You can enjoy these milk chocolate covered pretzels as a dessert or an anytime snack. Cost of today's pretzels, let's say it was pretty salty.
I know. Well, you know, as the prizes go, the pretzels were a new twist. Or it is a single serving size.
Oh.
Well, I'm not sure. But anyway, introduce today's contestant.
Today's contestant was selected at random from our studio audience just moments ago. This Rotarian possesses all the skill and knowledge required to take home our grand prize. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to Valerie!
Come on up! All right. Oh, here we are. Wow, we're here. Okay. What is Rotary District 7430's STEM Yay? What is that? Year-end achievements? Youth Education Award? Youth Explorer Academy? District's opposite of STEM Net. Which could it be? Now, you do have your lifelines. Ask an audience, ask a friend, or a 50-50.
I'll ask the audience.
Oh, okay. All right, audience, what do you think? It's our district's year-end achievements. Okay, nobody thinks that. How about the Youth Education Award? Oh, we have a handful of them people. How about the Youth Explorer Academy? This isn't looking good for you now.
That was my 50-50.
And the opposite of STEM Nay. Yeah, one. Okay, well, it looks like it's a little bit, you know what? How about we give you a 50-50? Wait, it took you a while.
I was going to say, yeah, what's wrong?
I'd say no. Dan, would you eliminate 2 of the incorrect answers? Oh. Just what you thought, huh? Well, I don't know. If you look hard, you might see the answer.
C.
C. Okay, C. Let's see what it is, Dan, if you would. It is the Academy. So, but wait, as always, there's more. Okay, it's a 4-day, 3-night residential camp for middle school students in District 7430. It's held at Albright College. It'll be July 13th through July 16th. And we have sent, it's the 2nd year now, we've sent a student from the middle school, and it's amazing. If you go to the website, it's stemyay.com. But this year it's Life on Mars, and it's Introduction to Mars, the Mars Night Sky, the Scalar Solar System, planetary features. I mean, and it goes on from rifts, valleys. It's pretty intensive, and it's a great program. We also have a little bit more. There's the mission. One more page, if you will. This kind of brings it all into focus too. We're raising funds for the STEM Yay 2023, and it'll be the 2nd annual reverse raffle. And you know what? Grab those flyers that are in the very front there, and you can pass them around. And the reason I bring it up now is if you sign up for the event, if you will, and it's a very nice event. I was to the one last year. You can save 10% on the, I'll say the fee or the ticket going in. But anyway, there'll be funny, good food, drinks, dancing, drinks, inspiring guests, drinks, more of the prizes. And also a caricature artist will be there. But anyway, it is 10%. Go, it is really nice. And I encourage you, go to stemyay.com. It's a slick site to begin with what you see as a program. It kind of mirror, I say it doesn't, it mirrors the notion of camp nighting, where the idea of the annual thing. So anyway, Ellie, thanks for playing. Enjoy it. I was told it's 4 servings, not 1. If only I had known that before, and I eat the whole thing. But there you go. 3 of them. I'm only 3.
Thank you, and congratulations, Valerie. So I think we're going to let, Bob had a long drive to get here this morning, and we're going to give him a head start on his breakfast. So everybody enjoy your breakfast for like maybe 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so one thing I'll talk about while you guys are eating is, the last couple of weeks we've talked about the idea of having a service project for sometime this spring. Last few years, we've had the opportunity to do some nice things over at the Sebastian Riding Academy. I think we're going to reach out to them and see if they have any particular needs as they start to maybe ramp up their operations for the spring. I know we've done some trail cleanups, some painting, and some maintenance things over there. I think that would be a great opportunity for us. We've had some, I think, discussions about the Integrate for Good. If anyone's familiar with that nonprofit organization within the area, Integrate for Good is a nonprofit that helps to people with special needs integrate into either jobs or into the community to do employment and things like that. And one of the things that they do as a service to the community is they have a way of converting plastic shopping grocery bags into a yarn type substance. They call it plarn, which is like plastic yarn. They weave it on a loom and they make mats out of them. And they donate these mats to the homeless so that these people don't have to sleep directly on the ground. So I think for one of our club meetings, maybe sometime this winter, what we're going to do is maybe a service project within our meeting. We'll schedule this ahead of time so everyone can bring their inventory of plastic shopping bags into the meeting. We'll cut them up and we'll make some plarn, and then we'll be able to donate that for Integrate for Good. So there's a couple things that if anyone else has any ideas of projects that we may be able to incorporate into this spring, please let us know, and we'll see if we can put something on the calendar. So give you guys a couple minutes to get started, and then we'll get our speaker up and to talk to us today.
You're allowed to talk while you're Yeah. That's where we had the boom lights.
Yeah.
So are you from, is your family from Upper Country Township or Spinnerstown? Oh, from Emmons? That's not a name I recognize. I don't recognize it. Congratulations. 12 years. I think you had a fair warning there. Yeah, well, right. I'm not sure I understand, but maybe it's your kind of I enjoy Denver. You know what, you're compelled to make it. You know what, I have a bunch of friends who reenacted radio shows, and guys really hit it. Sounds in the 40s. Yeah. I don't, you sound just like that. You can go back to 72 or 76. Right. Oh yeah, I mean, it's not an extended stay. And something remakes.
You know Muddy Waters, his songs, any of his stuff. Because he was in the music when I hear it. It's crazy to me. You have to look up the stuff. It sounds like it should have been at least like 60, 70. I mean, it's just he was playing and it was time for. Yeah, it was like yeah.
Years ago. Your brother-in-law.
I don't understand.
Yeah, no.
Stadium?
Continuously.
That's me. That's me.
Like twice that season. You don't get about making your way down the hill. Then maybe a year later, you skiing once, and then the next year you went once or twice.
Not a good thing when you get older. I took my first ski lesson at 40. It was like, oh, it was not. It went okay.
Okay. So that's all I remember.
It's not the time to start.
Down. Right. Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
there's no monitor, is there? If you stay in an area, great, that's what I'll do. Because I always like to. It's on.
All right. I'm very happy to introduce our guest speaker for today, previous District Governor Barb Hobaugh. Bob serves as the show field chair for the Das Ausschucht. Is that close?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Apparently it's not, John.
That is a community event and car show that's been in its 60th year. Bob is a practicing attorney in southeastern Pennsylvania, and he's been an active member of the Kutztown Rotary Club since 1986. And he's had various roles within his club, within the district, and has done a lot of things, including being a teacher for the RLI Institute. I'd like to introduce you to Bob Hobaugh. Welcome.
Okay, so John, I'm not as tall as you were, so I think I'll hold this down. So my name's Bob Hobaugh. I'm your immediate past district governor. And some of you remember me. I know, remember you. And it's great to be back here in Harleysville. Of course, I did have to get up at 4:30 to be here on time. Mark, can you hear me? Mark's at home, right? He wanted to make sure that I brought the PowerPoint down. Anyway, thanks for coordinating this. I'm glad to be here. Since I was your district governor last, on June 30th, I've done a lot of things. I've gone back into my law practice a little more heavily. I joined the board of the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. I have become the chair of something called Das Fest, which is Pennsylvania German for the August Festival. Now, the August Festival is what we're here to talk about today. And I'm going to be honest with you. I want to get you interested in it. I want you to, if you can, come help. If you own a Corvette, I want you to come. You'll see that we have Rotarians who have been involved with Das Fest since it began in 1964. And my job today is to show you how our mission with this car show aligns with the principles of Rotary. And if I don't, ask me the question and we'll get it straight, okay? So let's begin. Dan tells me that this arrow goes down. What do I hit? This? Oh, wait. There you go. Okay. Does anybody know this guy?
There's two old models.
Yeah. That's Model A and Model B, right? Well, Gary has, as you know, he's big in the Model A Club, and he's also a regular attendee at the Das Fest. Das Fest is located in Macungie in Lehigh County, in a Macungie Memorial Park. I grew up there. I lived in Lower Macungie Township. I was the lawyer for Lower Macungie and for Macungie Borough. And now I'm just a happy guy who does fun things there. A lot of friends there. So what we did was, let's start out here. What is Das Fest? It's one of the country's largest antique and classic car shows and community celebrations. And the nice thing about it is that there's a whole lot of fellowship. And it's not just fellowship for folks who live in Macungie or Lehigh County or even Pennsylvania. People come from many, many states to participate. So Macungie Memorial Park is our beneficiary, which is a 501c3. And it's been, well, we bought the park in 46. Now, Laura, I know you'd only go back to 50. But in 1944, we formed the Macungie Memorial Park Association. 46, bought the park, or the first 20 acres of it. So how does this align with Rotary? Well, we have the areas of focus: economic and community development, maternal and child health, and peace and conflict resolution. But we also have 5 avenues of service, including youth service and community service and club service. And you'll see that this aligns with all that stuff. Rotarians have been involved since 1964 when we began. And I want to encourage you to come out and see it for yourself, August 4 through August 6th. So yeah, I kind of got suckered into being the chair for this, but it's no problem. Here's my background is, you know, many people think I'm a farmer, but I'm not, I'm a lawyer. But I do some farming. Where do I start? Dean, 37 years of teaching adult Bible study, and I've been to Ebenezer Church in Atlanta. My wife and I go around the country judging classic car and motorcycle shows. I own antiques and show them. What else do I do? Well, it was easy to get involved. Let's put it that way. Okay, so who comes to Macungie in the first weekend of August? Well, people from all around, and you can see some of these demographics. The beauty of it is that we have at the same time something in Bethlehem called Music Fest. Did you ever hear of Music Fest? Okay, a lot of folks come to our show and Music Fest. Folks from out of town come and spend the night in hotels or motels, and they come to our restaurants, unlike the Franconia, okay? So anyway, it's a good thing. Now, I'm gonna plug Discover Lehigh Valley because they helped me figure out these facts of who comes and whatever. So if you look at the screen, you'll see Discover Lehigh Valley's charts. These are folks who say, what's going on in the valley? And they helped me put this together for Sockfest. What they do is they track your cell phones. So, you know, Bud, when you go to those nasty places with your cell phone, people know you're there. That's the bottom line. Okay. So what they did was they track cell phones and say, where do these cell phones come from and where do they go? And we find a whole lot of information. Anyway, Discover Lehigh Valley bought this software program and they put this together for us. We have a huge economic impact. This is what the park looks like, or looked like maybe in the 70s, okay? During our car show, we bumped up from 20 to 42 acres, and we'll hear more about that. But you see, we have a lot of activities. So let's just take it from there. So in 46, we get this potato farm, and we spend the first 5 years pulling out rocks out of the ground. And we then improve it with a band shell that came down Route 100 from Fogelsville and built a 2-story memorial hall. And of course, the swimming pool that was opened in 1960. When I was a kid, this is where I swam. This is where I played. And this is a tremendous regional asset. So how do you pay for these things? And by the way, the park now has a full-time staff, manager, maintenance, operations. We started out with family picnics and agricultural field days. I don't know if we still do this in Kutztown. We pull tractor pulls and things like that. We had rudimentary and early car shows to pay some of the costs. And then in 1964, we had Representative Shoemaker said, look, you've got about, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of bonds outstanding to pay for this pool, and you've got to pay off the bonds. How are we going to do it? So we're going to have a car show, okay? My association is that I moved to the Lehigh Valley about the same time this started. I'm in the car club that runs the show field. So there's the park association, and then there's the car club. We do the registration in cars, and not just cars, other things, and the park does everything else, including music, entertainment, kids crafts, food, beverage, yes, and we have beer and wine, and a lot of other things. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff to do. Anyway, about 10 years ago, when we were having our 50th anniversary of the show, because this year is our 60th, I started to write the history, and I'd go around doing a presentation in a PowerPoint a lot longer than this one. And this is much redacted, okay? The greatest contribution I made was to write the history. There's a copy of the history laying there. I think I sent a copy it's over there. Sent a copy to Mark. And I was able to chronicle the 6 phases of this car show. And what we're gonna do is look at how it began, and you understand, you don't have to memorize or know what these phases delineate, but know that we just build on what we started back in 64. A lot of great volunteers and a lot of great vision. So we began in 64. Okay, now, it's Das Augfest, which means the August Festival. It's Pennsylvania Dutch, and you can see by this first program that it's all about the Dutch. You see all those disselfinks and things. Anyway, this is our first dash plaque. We began in our community. Who ever heard of Fleetwood? How about Fleetwood Auto Body? Fleetwood Auto Body built custom cars in Fleetwood, 5 miles from my house, until 29 when they sold the business to folks in Detroit, okay? Anyway, some of the skilled craftsmen there lived in Macungie, and 2 of them are pictured here. So we had in 64, George Wendling and his brother, And we had as our general chair, Bob Young, who is a retired judge in Lehigh County and a friend of mine. And he started with this, believe me, he started with this park picking the rocks out of the field. And now his son is sort of the chair of this thing. Anyway, we had a Friday night restoration. How do you restore an antique car? But the show was on Saturday. So it was really a one-day show. Allen, Oregon is right next door to the park. They crafted a bowl for us. Our first Rotarian to be involved, to my knowledge, is a guy named Dave Bausch. Dave is a member of the Allen Rotary Club, and he won in '64 with his 26 Franklin. That's an air-cooled car from New York. Anyway, here's Dave at one of our club meetings. In '65, we formed the car club, the Honolulu region of the Antique Automobile Club of America. I'm past president. I was president of that the year before I became your district governor. We are the people who did the judging and ran the car function. So we continued on with some of our Pennsylvania Dutch ways. You can see some of the things we did. We had, yeah, we'll see some Fords. Anyway, we had a horse show, and we had this is a Western on Sunday. We had other. Did I hit something wrong? No, there's a surprise.
Let's see.
Okay, there's the horse. So anyway, we offered a variety of activities, but it was, understand this. So I'm in this world, I'm an AACA team captain and certified judge for the Antique Automobile Club of America. It's a point judging system. And I go around the country judging cars and motorcycles based on points. We deduct points for imperfections. Anyway, bottom line is that's the way this show ran for the first 20 years. But it's not that way anymore, and we'll get to that. Other highlights, we had a balloon bringing in a parachutist who would drop in, and it was kind of like opening of the show. Now there's a Model A, okay? This is in '66 we had Model A Club, Model A Ford Club, and that is that's what Gary is.
It's okay, I'll answer.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah. My thumb is too big. That'll be my excuse.
Yeah, that's the tip.
Yeah. Just hear my daughter sing. Oh, Dad.
All right.
Okay, here we go. So take it away, Andy. Okay, so we had antique toy shows. This is the other thing. Dave Bausch, who was the general chair, also set up. He specializes in antique toys and antique things. And so we had an indoor antique show. Next. Just keep going, Dan. So we had this, you see our theme. Our awards became a little more metallic. Keep going. This is inside when we had the toy show, the antique toy show. There are now two things going on in antique toys. Okay, we have something called Toy Town, which is outside, where you can find things like pedal cars that we used to remember. They become really popular. And we also have the antique toy show indoors, which is that very expensive antiques from 100 years ago. Anyway, phase two started in 1973, a very much community event. Here's we had a queen. Next. We had queens every year for many years. We have a flea market where you can go and buy parts for your cars. Antique car owners need parts all the time. Our big show's at Hershey, but this one has a close second. Go ahead. Of course, you bring out the elected officials. This is our Mayor Mildred and former Representative Joe Zeller. I went to school with his daughter back in the day. Go ahead. Okay, so phase two is also known for, we had really good cars from, we draw people from a broad region. Here's a car from Quakertown. Go ahead. Our awards became metallic. We're still doing point shows in phase two. Go ahead. Here's a car. This is Butch Cohen from Reading with a Rolls and Bob Whitaker from Pennsburg. Go ahead. But at the end of phase 2, so ended the horse show. Now, it's a shame. I remember I met people who were part of that, but we replaced it with something called Kinderfest, which means, what does Kinderfest mean? Thank you. I'll give you a chocolate pretzel for that. Anyway, so we are a very family-friendly event. The point is that there's all kinds of motorheads, people like me who are into cars and stuff, but we also have a lot of things for families and children. The swimming pool is open. We have arts and crafts, and we have magicians and musicians. Go ahead. Phase 3 started in 1980. Phase 3, I guess, is known for getting rid of the beer sales. We had a dram shop problem, and we relocated the car corral. The most important thing here is to remember that we're starting to add land onto the 20 acres. So we reconfigured what we were doing. Go ahead. Next, Kathy's Jaguar. The guy who got me into this, Keith Yost, who's now passed away. Poor guy died, he was like 45. There he is. He was head of the Buick group and a vendor. These are car parts. And these are the pedal cars and things. This is Toy Town. That's different from the other thing. Go ahead, Dan. And of course, we still had this stuff. Now, these pictures, this picture is from the home of David Bouch, the one I showed you, the Allentown Rotarian. He has his house, and this sounds like the Adams family, his house is a museum, okay? It's just amazing what he has. Go ahead. Okay, in phase 3, we also had a car corral. That's where you sell cars. It's kind of like cars, you can take your car there and sell it. Here's a Woody Rolls Royce being rolled off the trailer from back in the day. Phase 4 started in 1991. This was a huge time because we began something called theme cars. And Sandra, we're going to talk about theme cars in a minute. But the big thing about the theme car is that we put up a tent that's big enough to hold 15 of the best examples of a certain mark or brand, and then we line the field around it with similar cars, and then the rest of the show field is for the rest of what we're doing. You can see we started out with Jeep. Go ahead. There's a Rolls Royce from Newtown Square. There's a Woody wagon from Jersey. And we're going through the years of phase 4. Go ahead, Dan. My friend Ben Cuck had his 57 Thunderbird there. I was at the Mecum auction when we sold that. Now, the beauty of this is that we had, that should say 2013, right?
Yes.
I wonder why it's not so big. Anyway, in 2013, we had the 50th anniversary of the Fast, and the cars there were jewels. This car right here, this Buick, is Nicola Bulgari's car. Do you ever hear of Nicola Bulgari? Bulgari Jewelry from Rome? It's the biggest international jewelry dealer in the world, and his cars are jewels. And there's one such. Go ahead. He's the only guy I know who would put $75,000 or $100,000 into a car that's only going to be worth $40,000. He doesn't have to worry about it. So anyway, in our 50th anniversary, another Rotarian we used to have a Copley Rotary Club. Here's Don Baer. He put together a circle of cars. Right? So phase 5 started in 2014. Again, we had themed cars. But what we did was we got away from the judging classes that we had from AACA. In AACA now we have over 100 classes of motor vehicles that are arranged, homogeneously in like kind. And we went to a different system. Go ahead. You can see that we had 6 classes of cars plus an undesignated tractor class because we're still a little agricultural. Okay. Theme cars, car clubs come and occupy the tent. This was the Vintage Chevrolet Club that did this. If you're into these things, you probably know this car and who owns it. Go ahead. One of my favorites was this V12 Packard that was, what year is that? 2018 at Theme Car Tent. And that one didn't even make it inside the tent, but it's so wonderful. Go ahead. I pushed this car. This is a Tucker that was in the movie, and I pushed it out of the trailer and helped put it out. I mean, this is the stuff that sort of sits around. Go ahead. And of course, there's muscle cars too. I mean, okay, Chuck, you like muscle cars. I gotta tell you, not everything's an antique, like Gary's Model A's. Okay, we have a lot of muscle cars. We have a lot of wonderful stuff. Go ahead. Oh, there he is again. Okay, just to show you the front and back. I have so many pictures of Gary there. I have him pictured with my motorcycles and doing other things, and that'll be in the next video. Go ahead. Speaking of motor, what's that?
Is he a model?
He is a model. He's not only smooth with his voice, but he stands there and like Vienna, you know? This isn't being recorded, is it?
Yes.
Sorry, Gary, I didn't mean that. So anyway, I belong to the Perkiomen chapter of the Antique Motorcycle Club of America also. I own antique motorcycles. And two of our officers brought these motorcycles that are, and they bring them, show them regularly. Sidecar motorcycles, two Harley Davidsons, but we're not sold on Harley Davidson. I had one, but these guys have beautiful ones. Go ahead. When I was president of the Honolulu Region AACA, right before I was your district governor, we had something called COVID-19. We still have it, but it was a rougher situation back then. Anyway, I had set up a Cadillac and LaSalle theme for that year, but we had to skip the show. Go ahead. Instead, we had it the following year when I was your district governor, and I worked very hard to put this on and do your district governor stuff. This is Woody Hobaugh. He's a member of the Emmaus Rotary Club, and here he is with his 1929 Cadillac Fleetwood. Thank you. Yeah, Woody's got some great cars. Anyway, another Rotarian. Last year, we did British sports cars, and that was done by Jed Rappaport, the son of Arnie Rappaport, Judge Rappaport, who put together the sports cars back in 1964. So generations are involved. Now, you may know some of these characters. We've got Cindy Horniman from the Emmaus Club and Marlene Heller from the Allentown West Club and their husbands. They come and they've done a lot of stuff. Gary Heller's a photographer, and he's done a lot of photography for me and for cars past. Go ahead. So now we're in this current phase. What kind of cars do you like, Sandra?
Either one of those would do.
Either one would do. Okay, so this year, this August, 4th through 6th, it's going to be Corvettes in Macungie. We have 8 generations of Corvettes. We're going to have examples of each of the 8 generations under the tent, and then a whole bunch other outside the tent. And we will have Rotarians there. Dan? Who knows Clint Hillers from the Ambler Rotary Club? He's your area, Area 9 AG? There he sits in his 58 vet, and it's just being shipped up right now from Texas to participate in our show. Anyway, we're gonna have a lot of wonderful things. But the point is this, the point is that you can come and have a good time. You can help the people in my club. We're getting old, okay? I've got some very, very old people, and they're infirm. And I'm bringing new people into our club all the time. Those Rotarians pictured, I brought into the club before I was the district governor. Now, what's in it for you? What's in it for you is that if you volunteer and help us, and we can talk about what you can do, you get free admission. I'll give you breakfast, I'll give you lunch, and then you can go play, okay? That's what it is. So what you might do, if you don't want to bring a motor vehicle, you could do field layout, parking. We need help parking cars. So in other words, cars come down the road, the internal roads, and you direct them to park in lines that we set out in their show classes. Distributed awards, work in the registration tent, and you help preserve a regional treasure, something that provides economic development, maternal and child health, and peace and conflict resolution all year long. So volunteers make it happen. There's 3 paid employees for the park, but the rest of us are volunteers. So we've got the Park Association, and they do all the things that are non-car related. The Honolulu Region, my car club, we do the car stuff, and volunteers. Volunteers are so important to this, and that includes Rotarians. Now, one thing I did this year as the chair was to do something that you said, geez, didn't you do that 20 years ago? Did you ever hear of Eventbrite? Yeah, electronic registration. Well, we finally have electronic registration for the car show. And I'm doing other things too. I got a website up for our car club and with a link to that for registration to learn more about this. So do you have any questions about what I said? Yeah, Chuck, I know you got something on your mind.
I just wondered if you knew Dave Brady from.
Yes, Dave Brady is the guy who does interior. Yeah, he does. Dave Brady does interiors.
I worked with his wife at Grandview, and I know they used to go. I don't know if they still do, but they used to take their cars out there.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. They're like Woody Rohrbach. They're a fixture in Emmaus. Okay, but what I want to say to you is, while we have an Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton footprint, people come from your community. People come from Newtown Square. People come from all over. So it's a regional asset. There are opportunities for you. You can do clubs. You can call it a club service event or something else, however you want to approach it. But I would like to see you there. So thank you very much. Yeah, Marcia. August 4th through 6th. It's always the first Saturday in August. And so it's warm. I can tell you many times that I bring along a swimsuit and just jump into the pool after I'm done. Although I can't do that anymore because I'm like on duty all the time now as a chair. But it's a great time. It's just a really great time. Does anyone here like old cars? Yeah. You like old cars? Do you like new cars? Do you like muscle cars? Do you like whatever? Yeah, I mean, you know, we're in an era where even Cadillac is electric. You know, I mean, we're in a whole new world with motor vehicles, but these things survive, and we help display them for everyone's enjoyment. Thank you very much. We have some things over here. I have, talking about the history of soccer. We've got registration forms, and I have a swap meet in the first weekend in March. If you're interested in picking up some cards, running a swap meet at the end of
Thank you, Bob. You know, the amazing thing about a lot of these antique and older cars is, you know, the technology that was during different time periods to make these cars. You know, when Bob's talking about some of these old cars with big V12 engines and things like that, and some of them, you know, are really kind of pieces of art. When you look at the interiors and the design of the vehicles, it's really absolutely amazing, and it's a testament to you know, what we've done in the United States over the years as far as different things, great things that we've built over the years. So thank you very much, Bob. Any other, before I go on, is anyone have any other questions for Bob before we keep going? Okay, he's going to enjoy the rest of his breakfast.
Sound like a piece of toast.
We'll go into brags and sags. Anyone have any brags or sags this week? Anybody? Bud?
Yeah, just got informed this weekend that my grandson, who's in the Marines at Cherry Point, has set their wedding for April. So I got a wedding coming up, and they'll probably come for some money to pay for it.
Is that a brag or a sag?
It's both.
You have to buy it.
I got one.
Okay, Bob?
So here's the Bob. One thing I didn't tell you about is that my big Rotary activity, other than community still district, I joined something called Hand Wash, which is the division of Rotary Action Group for Water Sanitation and Hygiene. And we are bringing sanitation to the I'm doing the legal work, I speak French, that's what they speak. And The good news is that this has been fulfilling, and plus we're about to hire a full-time French law firm or Asian law firm in Sweet Spring, so that I don't have to. That's
a brag, John and I have to go to a meeting with the president's husband-elects Monday night. Monday night at Jake. We're going to do that quarterly. It's just fun to meet with the other presidents and elects and discuss things that are happening. We talked about what each club had their meetings and how much their dues were and things like that. So it's nice to find out how other clubs are doing their job, projects that are coming up.
Anyone else? I'll add on to what Chuck's saying. You know, it is interesting when you have these meetings that you get to hear about what other clubs are doing as far as projects that they're doing. Kind of can give us ideas of things that we might be able to do with our club. You know, their meeting frequencies, and some clubs meet at different places. Like they might meet every other week at one place and every other week at another place, or their due structures are different. It's just very interesting to hear what other clubs in our area are doing. Now we're going to go on to the raffle. It's raffle time. Get your tickets out.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Don't ask me. I force you guys to know how much is in that pot. There's $630.50.
$630.50. Okay.
Yeah, sure. This is like the what is that? The mega?
Yeah, minor.
Am I supposed to read it or you may read it? Okay, everybody ready? You probably always have to say it first. It's 396-8122. Who's the happy character? 8122.
Hey, let me examine this.
Well, it's not me.
No, it's not.
I got it. So, you pick another ticket or you just have a fun?
He's gonna pick the green. Okay, like a green.
Another day.
Okay, so that pod continues to grow.
Oh, it's very near.
Okay, anyone have any final comments for today?
Yes.
Okay. You know, as you leave and you go out and explore the community this week, you never know what kind of things you're going to discover. Maybe you're going to discover a new potential Rotarian, or discover new things you go on about. Kind of like what on this day in 1778, when Captain James Cook reached Hawaii. Okay, so when we leave today, we are going to what? We're going to simply talk about Rotary today.